Top of the day, beautiful people. Make sure all this is straight. We made it. Oh, I'm gonna get my book together. Y'all, literally just getting in the room. So I'm pulling all this stuff together. And I wish I could stand up. I'm gonna have to adjust this for tomorrow's video. All right, beautiful people. Happy Friday. It is October the 7th, 2022, day 232 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1250. Y'all, we still in Oahspe in the book of Judgment on chapter 36. Nope, we read 36. Did we read 36? No, we read. Why I did this wrong. This is 35. Chapter 36. We're starting in chapter 36, which is on page 696. Father, we thank you for ingenuity, your ingenuity that you funnel down to all of your children everywhere. I know that's still kind of like a little selfish because it kind of bring it back to us, but the ingenuity and just the different things that I've been looking at as we traveling, it blows my mind. But anyway, Nene, Shalom says Global Purpose, Grand Rising. Anita, hey girl, hey Shayla, Betwabu, Great Rising. Tikva, hey girl, hey, happy new day. Yahweh, Shalom. Listen, y'all, and everybody hanging out in the background. Shalom or aloha from Hawaii. Lavon, blessings, y'all. When I say we just got to the room, we just got here to the room. We've been traveling since yesterday. We had an extra long layover, and I posted like a real 48, a real short video. I'm not sure if y'all had a chance to watch it before we came live, but it just posted. Our layover in California and at LAX was longer than what we had planned for because when we were about to board the flight, they were asking for volunteers. Now, normally we never do any kind of volunteer anything, but since we was walking up there to ask a question anyway, we just asked the question about the volunteers and what you would give us in exchange for volunteering our seats for this flight. Because if we had stayed on course, we would have been here like 5 p.m. Y'all would have got to see some of the daytime and stuff, right? But it's not. Hold on. I can't open it because it's gonna show you I'll show y'all tomorrow the night view. So it's night here right now. It's hold on. It's 1:20 a.m. in the morning here. I know it's like 7:20 there, right? But it's a pretty night line where you can see some of Honolulu. But I'm gonna see if I can adjust this desk tomorrow, so that way when we do the videos every morning, you will have like the pretty night line behind me. We'll see how we can work that out so it's not like a glaring or anything. I'm gonna see if we can get that together. But anyway, so we asked them about the deal, and they said they were offering, if you would give up your seat, they would board us on the next outgoing flight. At first they said it would be overnight, but they found a different one with a different airline to where we wouldn't have to stay overnight, and we would have gladly have taken the overnight one if it wouldn't cause us to miss our meeting today, right? Because we got a meeting at 12:45 tomorrow. If we can do that, we can head on out of here about that time. When we was in California, when we was about to board, it was about 2 p.m. It was like, yes, let's get out here in Cali. You're not gonna see some things, right? So we'll take that, but it would have been really pushing us real close, and we would have probably been late, if not missed our meeting, especially because the address that I had was the wrong one. So we went to the wrong place, but it's a good thing we had a really good cab driver, and he just while he was driving us through Honolulu, he was giving us like a whole history and everything. Really good. And he gave us his business card. So when we came to the hotel we thought we was going to be at, they said, ma'am, you were in the wrong place. They say you can walk. The walk is about 30, 45 minutes. We was like, you know what, we call a cab because everything is closed by now. It's after midnight. Um, so he came right back. He was back in 10 minutes and he brought us to the right place, got us all checked in. And so, which is why we're literally just getting in the room. But the deal that they gave us, it was amazing. So they booked us on the next flight. We didn't take the overnight one. We took the next flight, which left about we started boarding about 6:30 p.m. And then they also gave us $700 per person, right? To give up our seats because we saw the people who was taking the seats, and apparently they looked like they was about to be late for a meeting. His wife was kind of cool, but the dude, you could tell he was really, really agitated. It was like, yeah, well, man, our meeting not till tomorrow about 12:45. Um, so we took that, and so they gave us like $700 per person. And after we took it, we realized, wait a minute, because we're going to Jamaica next year on my husband's birthday. And before we decided to hold off on purchasing the tickets like a couple weeks ago, so we can just kind of look through and get like the best rate. But with them giving us what they gave us, this completely pays for the whole Jamaica trip, right? Even some spending money. So that was good. But the flight, it was pretty good. It was non-eventful. Other than that, we got here safe and sound, so it was pretty good. The skyline coming into Hawaii was absolutely beautiful with the islands and the lights and stuff. I really couldn't get. My husband got a video, but I think it was kind of blurry, and my phone was about dead, and my backup battery and all that stuff. So maybe heading back out, we'll get some of that and add it to our little video. No, we ain't started reading yet. I'm just rambling on about the travels and getting here. But we about to start, y'all. So be looking out for some. Well, I won't really post a lot of that here on YouTube, but if you come over to Facebook, you'll see some of the pictures and our vacation travels and all that good stuff, y'all. But we are starting on page 696, chapter 36 in Oahspe. And this is gonna be kind of weird because I'm sitting so low. Okay, maybe I need to do it like this. All right, beautiful people. Vanek reading. Shiru, hey girl, hey. Yep, page 696, chapter 36. All right, y'all. God said, behold, the work of my hand, O man, as thou findest an old house no longer habitable, thou sendest workmen to pull it down, and then thou sendest laborers to clear away the rubbish. And afterward thou bringest builders, and they lay a new foundation, larger and broader than the old one, and thereon they build thee a new edifice, adapted with new improvements unto the increase and requirements of thy family. Even so hath thy God labored for hundreds of years to prepare unto the generations of this day. For I saw beforehand that man would circumscribe the earth, and that all the nations and peoples thereof would become known to one another. Right? So everybody, we've been doing this for years now. People are traveling, everybody's no longer, with the exception of a few small places, everybody's pretty much mingling around. They're traveling the world, introducing themselves to brothers and sisters, right? We're seeing the different peoples. Clearly in America, if you're from America or any place, nowadays you see that there are people different from you, right? But that's what's to happen in Cosmon era. We'll begin to travel the globe because of where we're at, the way the Father has developed man and civilization up to this point, right? Started at nothing and that progresses. We had to be separated for a period of time while we develop. Then as we develop in all our inventions with our culture, we now can travel the world and mix and mingle, and we learn about what you do here and you learn about what we do over here, how we can help one another, and it's just, it's beautiful. Even so, verse 3, page 697. Even so hath thy God labored for hundreds of years to prepare unto the generations of this day. For I saw beforehand that man would circumscribe the earth, and that all the nations and peoples thereof will become known to one another. And I beheld also that in the coming time, which is now at hand, the old edifices of doctrines and creeds and religions, as of the Brahmins, Buddhists, Jews, Cayuans, Christians, and Mohammedans, would not fulfill the requirements of man. And now, behold, O man, the wisdom of Jehovah previously, he had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into the sacred books of all the said great religions, purposely and with design, so as to make easy the work of thy God. I remember we read ahead. I forget where we were at, but we read ahead here because I came across this, and it's just amazing at what happened and why the Creator says that He allowed all the contradictions and all these things about the different religions and what we're learning and why people are putting them away now. Right? Pay attention. This is really good. Verse 6, page 697. And now, behold, O man, the wisdom of Jehovah previously, he had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into the sacred books of all of the said great religions, purposely and with design, so as to make easy the work of thy God. And when I saw that the coming together of nations and peoples would require a new religious edifice, I perceived also that the old ones must be cleared away. And behold, I, thy God, went to work systematically, inspiring man to accomplish even what man hath accomplished. I raised up scholars and infidels against these religions, inspiring them to attack the corruptions and contradictions in the sacred books of all these peoples. And in the same time, that I sent infidels against the Jewish Bible, I sent infidels against the Hoodoo Bibles, and against the doctrines of Brahma and Buddha and Kayu, and against the Christians and Mohammedans. And I made the beginning of the work of these infidels and scholars to correspond with the discovery of Gautama by Colombo, or America by Columbus. And I kept them at their work for 300 years, which was up to the time of the establishment of the Republic of Gautama, or America, which I, thy God, provided to be untrammeled by an established religion. After my workmen, the scholars and infidels, had thus undermined the old edifice, behold, I sent laborers under the name of merchants and traders to commence clearing away the rubbish. And because of their desires in money getting, they considered not the religious edifice of any people, and they provided comity relations whithersoever they went. For 100 years, these my laborers have been at their work, stripping off and clearing away the prejudice of nations and peoples against one another. And then, behold, I came with my builders, and I prepared a new foundation, broader and wider and firmer, for an edifice adapted to all the nations and peoples in the world. First, I sent my miracle workers forth into every quarter, saying unto them, whatsoever was done by the ancient gods and saviors, do ye even so and greater. For I will show unto all the world that no man nor God is worthy to be worshipped because of miracles. So let's go back to the beginning of this verse 16 on page 697. And after it says, first I sent my miracle workers. After workers is reference letter F. Reference letter F is on page 700. And 700 F says, I find this term, or miracle workers, I find this term is used in reference to those who are called suis, or mediums. A suis is not only a miracle worker, but one who is clairvoyant and clairaudient. Spiritualists have made the word medium to apply to all these characteristics. A man may attain to the magnetic state, that is, a condition where the spiritual man transcends above the corporal senses, and yet be neither a miracle worker nor a medium between angels and mortals. Andrew J. Davis wrote books in the magnetic state, yet he was not a miracle worker, nor perhaps ever attained to intelligent communion with angels. The writings of those in the magnetic state are as if from the earth looking upward, and are vague and indefinite, Writings from miracle workers are as if from heaven looking downward and are definite and to some purpose. A great proportion of the so-called spirit communications are not from angels, but from the medium's own spirit holy. Got to be careful about them. A great proportion of the so-called spirit communions are not from angels, but from the medium's own spirit holy. Are we not then, after all, obliged to judge all writings and speeches according to their merit and without any regard as to whence or how they came? Right, which is what we should be doing with Oahspe, judging the information in it and not judging how we got it. Right, we're to test the merit of the information we receive. Right. Okay, so go back to page 697, verse 16 at the bottom left side. First, I sent my miracle workers forth into every quarter, saying unto them, whatsoever was done by the ancient gods and saviors, do ye even so and greater. For I will show unto all the world that no man nor God is worthy to be worshipped because of miracles. And they went forth at my command, and my angels with them doing wonders. They healed the sick by the laying on of hands. They restored the blind to sight and made the deaf to hear, and have brought the supposed dead to life. They have caused writing to come on stone tablets and on paper in the light of day by unseen hands. They have caused ponderous bodies without mortal contact to move and to beat time to music. I've actually seen, well, I didn't see it personally, but over in the East, I seen a few videos and somebody was explaining it about how they're able to do that. And it's not a miracle. They understand something about the dead and help from the unseen realm, right? And so that's what they was doing. Why they think some people were raising the dead back to life? No, they just understand a little bit more science than you do from the spiritual side, and got y'all food. They healed the sick by the laying on of hands. They restored the blind to sight and made the deaf to hear, and have brought the supposed dead to life. They have caused writing to come on the stone tablets and on paper in the light of day by unseen hands. We kind of see that in the book of Daniel, right? They have caused ponderous bodies without mortal contact to move and to beat time to music. A child have lifted 8 full grown men with her little finger. They have passed full blown flowers and plants through boards and tables, unbruised and uninjured, and yet there was neither hole nor opening in the boards and tables. They have made stars of light that spake with audible voices. They have made pillars of fire by night and pillars of cloud by day. Same thing we see in the New Testament with JC walking through walls and stuff. It's the same thing that they do with passing flowers through boards. It's the same process. I read it again, verse 22, page 697. They have passed full blown they have passed full blown flowers and plants through boards and tables, unbruised and uninjured, and yet there was neither hole nor opening in the boards and tables. They have made stars of light that spake with audible voices. They have made pillars of fire by night and pillars of cloud by day. They have caused the spirits of the dead to appear as if in flesh and blood, and whilst thus appearing, talking face to face with their mortal kin, who saw them, heard them, and by the subject of the discourse proved them to be the very angels of heaven, returned to their earth kin and friends. For the time of one generation, thy God hath thus kept open the gates of heaven, working through mortals by the angels of heaven. And at the middle of verse 25, after gates of heaven, it has reference letter G. Reference letter G is on page 700. And forgive me if I'm talking slow, y'all. I have not been asleep in 24 hours. I feel myself moving slow. Okay. G says, one average generation by definition is 33 years. Therefore, from 1848 When the gates of heaven were opened, the end point would have been 1881. If, however, the first arc of Cosmon is actually 3,100 years, according to the Elohist communications, then the end point would have been 1879 for a 31-year generation. This should not be confused with the duration of dawn, which in the case of the first Cosmon era was 35 years by Elohist communications, ending in 1883. Okay, so go back to page 697, verse 25. For the time of one generation that God hath thus kept open the gates of heaven, working through mortals by the angels of heaven. My testimony and my witnesses are hundreds of thousands. I hide not the work of my hand and of my angels in a corner. I extend them abroad over the earth. I manifest in the cities and country places. I prove unto all peoples that common men and women can do the miracles for which gods and saviors have been worshipped. Yea, I give these powers unto good and bad men, and to good and bad women. And clearly we can see it, right? But if you're not aware of it, you might think everybody that can do what you would term as a miracle is sent from God. They are not all of them. Let me read that again. Verse 25. For the time of one generation thy God hath thus kept open the gates of heaven, working through mortals by the angels of heaven. My testimony and my witnesses are hundreds of thousands. I hide not the work of my hand and of my angels in a corner. I extend them abroad over the earth. I manifest in the cities and country places. I prove unto all peoples that common men and women can do miracles for which gods and saviors have been worshipped. Yea, I give these powers unto good and bad men and unto good and bad women. For I show miracles in order to break down the worship of miracle workers. For I will have none worshipped but Jehovah, and I have inspired angels to this end, and to the end that good works and wisdom shall be henceforth the means of resurrection in heaven. And I have shown also that only by harmony and the union of many can any great good come unto the generations of men. Next chapter, chapter 37, page 697. The chapter is XXXVII 37. The subtitle says, God revealeth his method of work. And y'all, we're going to end right at an hour today because I got to go to sleep. Oh, I think we're going to be done. Let me just keep reading. I think we're going to be done at the hour mark anyway, because there's 39 chapters in the book of Judgment, which is only a couple more pages. So we're just going to keep going. And whether we're at the hour mark, if we're not quite at the hour mark, but we're done, when we get done with chapter 39, we're going to go ahead and end it. All right. God said, think not, O man, that thy God goeth about a work without system and order. Verily, these are the first of my considerations. First, I send my Lewis, my masters of generations, down to the earth, to the nations and peoples where I designed to build my edifice. And my Lewises, by inspiration, control the marriages of certain mortals, that heirs may be born into the world suited for the work I have on hand. For many generations, my Lewis labored to this end, raising up thousands and tens of thousands of mortal heirs according to my commandments. So, O man, since 400 years, my Lewis shaped mortals. Hold on, let me go back. So, O man, since 400 years, my Lewis shaped mortal births to bring about the armies of thy God. And now, when the time of Cosmon had come, behold, I sent my lords and my numerators to receive the harvest and the records of my Lewis. Thus, O man, thy God knew beforehand what part and what place each and every one of his mortal laborers was adapted to. And through my lords and generals and captains of my angel host, I commanded them to fall to work on my building. And after I commanded them, it has reference 58, and 58 at the bottom says man. I commanded them at the top, and I commanded man at the bottom. So the previous version had man, updated version just says them. I'll read verse 9 again, page 698. And through my lords and generals and captains of my angel hosts, I commanded them to fall to work on my building, some to heal the sick, some to work signs and miracles, some to lecture, some to write, and so on, everyone according to the work of his adaptation. And all of this is to one purpose, not to build up or exalt any man, nor God, nor religion, but to found Jehovah's kingdom on earth, to give man the system of universal peace, love, harmony, and cosmon adapted to all nations and peoples in all the world. And I commanded my lords and angels, generals and captains to this end. And I, furthermore, commanded certain angel registrars to accompany and be with mortals in this, the Cosmon era, to observe them at the work I provided them. And whoso doeth a good work in truth, righteousness, wisdom, and love, my holy angels are commanded to extend their sphere of usefulness and light. And I said unto my angels, go ye with these proofs before mortals, with signs and miracles. Go to the rich and the poor, to the learned and to the unlearned, and ye shall observe them as to what use they make of the new revelations. This is good. I wrote some notes when we first read a few snippets here. Okay. All right. I'll read verse 14 again. And to whoso doeth a good work in truth, righteousness, wisdom, and love, my holy angels are commanded to extend their sphere of usefulness and light. I said unto my angels, go ye with these proofs before mortals, with signs and miracles. Go to the rich and the poor, to the learned and to the unlearned, and ye shall observe them as to what use they make of the new revelations. For some shall appropriate these things to money making, some to personal fame, some to evil purposes, but a few to the glory of the Almighty and the exaltation of mankind, which is what we're trying to do here, right, everybody? Okay. Verse 17, try ye all mortals, and make a register of them and their behavior, and preserve the same in my heavens. And it shall come to pass that many of my seers shall have great poverty and great hardships, for they will be unsuited to serve mammon. Nevertheless, they shall convert the rich, providing my truths unto them. And my seers shall go to them in distress, and the rich shall deny them and refuse them. Make a record of these also, for in course of time, and because of the hardness of their hearts, I shall withdraw my holy angels away from such rich people, and they shall be left to fall into the obsession of Druhas, and their families shall be obsessed, their wives or husbands, or sons or daughters, and the Druhas shall divide the families, turning a man against his father, and a daughter against a mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Where have we heard that? Right there in the Bible, the Biblios. Right? That's what the JC of the New Testament said that he came to do. Jamia Shalom says, Miss Amazing Wonder Shalom. Shabra, hey girl, hey. Listen, read this again. Page 698. We're in chapter 37 of the book of Judgment. Let me go to verse 16. For some, let me go to 15. I said unto my angels, go ye with these proofs before mortals, with signs and miracles. Go to the rich and the poor, to the learned and the unlearned, and ye shall observe them as to what use they make of the new revelations. For some shall appropriate these things to money making, some to personal fame, some to evil purposes, but a few to the glory of the Almighty and the exaltation of mankind. Try ye all mortals, and make a register of them and their behavior, and preserve the same in my heavens. And Oahspe to us would be considered a new revelation, right? So we're being observed as to how we're taking this new information, these new revelations, how we're taking it and how we're using it. We're the ones that's being observed. Try ye all mortals, and make a register of them and their behavior, and preserve the same in my heavens. And it shall come to pass that many of my seers shall have great poverty and great hardships, for they will be unsuited to serve mammon. Nevertheless, they shall convert the rich, proving my truths unto them. And my seers shall go to them in distress, and the rich shall deny them and refuse them. Make a record of these also, for in course of time, and because of the hardness of their hearts, I shall withdraw my holy angels away from such rich people, and they shall be left to fall into the obsession of Druhas, and their families shall be obsessed, their wives or husbands or sons or daughters, and the Druhas shall divide the families, turning a man against his father, and a daughter against a mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. For whoever goeth away from me, paying tribute to Satan, and after Satan it has in parentheses self, turn away from Creator and paying tribute to yourself. For whoever goeth away from me, paying tribute to Satan, self, I will not follow after. And the Druhas shall say, think not we are come to send peace on the earth. We come not to bring peace, but a sword. And I put over here as a side note, I put Jesus, a Druha, a Druid, because that's them words that came out of his mouth in the NT. For whoever goeth away from me, paying tribute to Satan, self I will not follow after. And the Druhas shall say, think not we are come to send peace on earth. We come not to bring peace, but to bring a sword. And families of the unrighteous, being obsessed with Druhas, shall keep secret their convictions, and they shall say, this is lunacy, meaning derangement. Others, being asked if they belong to the new dispensation, shall say, nay, we know nothing of it. Behold, we are good members of the church. And now, accordingly, all such matters were recorded in my heavens, and such mortals became known to me. And such as consulted the spirits in regard to money making or earthly matters for self's sake also became known to me. And I commanded my holy angels to withdraw from all mortals who were not working for Jehovah's new kingdom, who were of no profit in the resurrection of man. And behold, this was done also. So if you ain't doing anything to raise up your fellow brethren and sisterin for the glory of our Creator, our Father, remember, you ain't none of his. And his holy angels are our brethren and sisters that have passed on before us, that are now angels or have that title, angels, Ashar, Asaph, Lewis, or whatever, they withdraw from you as well, right? Just listen, look, just like when you have a plant, or those people who garden will understand this. When you're cultivating plants, so you have a garden and you start seeing dead branches and leaves and stuff, you should automatically prune those, right? And what's going to happen if you don't prune it, right? The death may spread, but also the energy from the portion of the plant that's still alive is still it's still sort of giving a little bit of energy toward the dead plant. So they tell you prune all the dead everything so the energy can be redirected to all the living portions that's producing. So you will be cut off, right? Cut it off. If it's dead, cut it off. You get no more life here, right? Because you're not producing anything. You're not helping us grow in one bit. Verse 27. I'll go back to let me just go back up to 22. For whoever goeth away from me, paying tribute to Satan, self, I will not follow after. And the Druhas shall say, Think not we are come to send peace on earth. We come not to bring peace, but to bring a sword. And families of the unrighteous, being obsessed with Druhas, shall keep secret their convictions, and they shall say, this is lunacy, meaning derangement. Others, being asked if they belong to the new dispensation, shall say, nay, we know nothing of it. Behold, we are good members of the church. And now, accordingly, all such matters were recorded in my heavens, and such mortals became known to me. And such as consulted the spirits in regard to money making or to earthly matters for self's sake also became known to me. And I commanded my holy angels to withdraw from all mortals who were not working for Jehovah's new kingdom, who were of no profit in the resurrection of man. And behold, this was done also. And it came to pass that many to whom I had offered these exalted work fell into the hands of Druhas, and they held conferences and were divided, man against man and woman against woman, full of boasting and short-sighted wisdom, seeking the applause of the multitude. And at the beginning of the verse, after that many to whom I had offered the exalted work. After offered the is reference number 59. And 59 at the bottom says, many to whom I had designed for exalted work, right? So if you were created and you were a part, you should have been a part of the creator's kingdom, but it's still your choice, right? And a lot of those who were designed for this work fell away to serve self, to serve Satan, right? Verse 29, I read it again. And it came to pass that many to whom I had offered the exalted work fell into the hands of Druhas, and they held conferences and were divided, man against man and woman against woman, full of boasting and short-sighted wisdom, seeking the applause of the multitude. And so many angels sifted them. Sorry. And so my angels sifted them and shorted them in order to find such as were willing to sacrifice self for the sake of the Father's kingdom. These I drew aside, and I said unto them, ye that choose to serve Jehovah, behold, Jehovah hath chosen you also. Next chapter, chapter 38, or chapter XXXVIII. The subtitle says, God showeth the mistakes of man's judgment. God said, I said unto thee, O man, pursue thy wisdom after the manner of thy God. And remember, this is true God that's speaking, right? Remember, God is not Jehovah. Jehovah is the name used for the great creator, the great I am. Some of us call Yah, Yahuwah, but it's talking about the creator of all things, right? And the creator of all things creates gods. It's like this militaristic hierarchy of ranks and rates, and they have different jobs, just like we see everywhere. Whether you work in a hospital, you got doctors, nurses, LPNs, CNAs, all that, or you work in a business where you have employees, managers, supervisors, all these different terms, whatever, it's the same thing. This is true God connected to creator, right? And God, Lord God, all of these different terms are the rankings, like we would see supervisor, manager, assistant supervisor. This is what God, Lord guys, and all these other terms mean. Even when you read in the Bible, if you're aware of this, you would be able to spot it and be able to decipher it when you read in the Bible, and you never get hung up on worshiping those those in certain positions, right? You would always seek to worship in the creator who also created them. Okay, chapter 38, page 698. God said, I said unto thee, O man, pursue thy wisdom after the manner of thy God. I go to the beginning. I labor not so much to convert adults as to prepare the minds of the young. Now behold, because I told thee this, thou sought to have children born unto thee after the manner of gods. Thou sayest, I understand the new kingdom. I have the solution for raising up a new generation on the earth. I have chosen me, my women, who also comprehend, and behold, our offspring will be very gods. But I admonish thee, saying, Thou openest the door for adultery, thou shalt surely go down. So think about all the people that think for the sake of nation building. This is what it's talking about. And Israel is famous for this. Not all of Israel, but a good majority of it, right? To think you should, to build a kingdom, more children. I'll just take more women. That way we can produce more children faster. Nation building, right? Fritz, you can't hear? Hold on. Can y'all hear on Facebook? It might be yours, Fritz. Close it, then open it back up. Close Facebook and open it back up. If y'all can hear me on Facebook, tell Fritz to close his Facebook and open it back up. It could be his. Okay. All right. But yeah, this opens the door for adultery, right? And bitter hearts and arguments between women, because for real, most women don't want to share their men. Just like most men, for real, they don't want to share their women with other men, but they will gladly take more women because for some reason they think in their head this is two different things, right? What's good for me, I can do over here, you shouldn't be doing. You should be kept nice and sacred and pure and holy. Be a good girl. You my good girl, right? But let me, do this, but you don't go touch nobody. Don't let nobody touch you. Listen. Let me start the chapter over. God said, I said unto thee, O man, pursue thy wisdom after the manner of thy God. I go to the beginning. I labor not so much to convert adults as to prepare the minds of the young. Now behold, because I told thee this, thou sought to have children born unto thee after the manner of gods. Thou saidest, I understand the new kingdom. I have the solution for raising up a new generation on the earth. I have chosen me my women, who also comprehend, and behold, our offspring will be very gods. But I admonish thee, saying, Thou openest the door for adultery, thou shalt surely go down. Thou wouldest not profit by the wisdom of ages. I had holden up my hand and said, One wife, one husband. Now hear me, O man. In a new cycle, man ever runneth to the extreme opposite of the old errors, and thus bringeth upon himself new ones that he knew not of. I say unto thee, the new edifice shall be of all that was good of the past, of things proven in heaven and on earth. Tabitha, shalom, shalom, says it says video has no sound. Can you hear me now? Take a look. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I'm gonna just keep on reading and I'll check it out. And if there's no sound, you can't hear what I'm saying anyway. Unless you probably you listen to me on YouTube. I don't know. I'm gonna just have to I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna post a link for the YouTube so those on Facebook can watch it with sound. I don't know. Both. I don't know. I'm too tired to figure it out right now. Let me finish this, y'all. I feel like I'm going to face plant. Okay. My husband already. I'm surprised he ain't snoring. He is out. Hold on. Okay. Where we at? 43 minutes. Okay. Verse 5. Let me go back to verse 5. But I admonish thee, saying, Thou openest the door for adultery, thou shalt surely go down. Thou wouldest not profit by the wisdom of ages. I had holding up my hand and said, One wife, one husband. And after one wife, one husband, there's an exclamation point, like we didn't get it. One wife, one husband. Now hear me, O man, in a new cycle, man ever runneth to the extreme opposite of the old errors, and thus bringeth upon himself new ones that he knew not of. I say unto thee, the edifice shall be of all that was good of the past, of things proven in heaven and on earth. Hold on. Just in case. Just in case y'all still can't hear, just real quick. I'm gonna just end this on Facebook and I'm gonna start it right back up. Just give me like 5 seconds. Just in case. Oh, okay. Cancel. Next. Just publish now. Okay. Live. Make sure my volume is all the way up. Okay. Then 5 seconds, the sound goes away. I don't know. Maybe they about to put me in jail for something I done did. I don't know. I gotta be careful, y'all. All right, but I just restarted it on Facebook. Somebody check it out for me. Just leave me a comment as I'll look up and I'll see. If not, the YouTube link will be posted. All right, listen. Now hear me, O man. In a new cycle, man ever runneth to the extreme opposite of the old errors, and thus bringeth upon himself new ones that he knew not of. I say unto thee, the new edifice shall be of all that was good of the past, of things proven in heaven and on earth. So just like we said, everything that we learned, tested, that's good, bring it with us. Everything else that ain't good for nothing but the fire, set it on fire. And I got extra matches if you need some. I say unto thee, the new edifice shall be of all that was good of the past, of things proven in heaven and on earth. Key blessing, sis. Page 699, chapter 38, verse 9. Also, I say unto thee, it shall be of the young and not of the adult, because thou hast attempted to beget offspring for the new kingdom. Thou of all men art the most unfit. Yikes. My laborers shall not have desire to be either fathers or mothers, nor shall they seek in any way things that belong on earth, nor have passions that belong only to the earth. Nevertheless, they shall be the founders of the Father's kingdom on earth and with the young. They shall gather up orphans and castaways in infancy and take them into colonies, hundreds and thousands of them. And these infants shall be clothed and fed and raised up, not after any man's whim or conceit, but according to the accumulated wisdom collected from all the different nations and peoples in the world, as to how to make the best corporal and spiritual men and women. And I think this is where John Newbern and them kind of got themselves in trouble with starting the colony of Shalom. They tried to do this too early. It wasn't the time for this, and they just I saw your comment, my Fire Marshal Bill. Listen, they tried to do this ahead of time. Nevertheless, verse 12, nevertheless, they shall be founders of the Father's kingdom on earth, and with the young they shall gather up orphans and castaways in infancy and take them into colonies, hundreds and thousands of them. And these infants shall be fed and clothed and raised up, not after any man's whim or conceit, but according to the accumulated wisdom collected from all the different nations and peoples in all the world, as to how to make the best corporal and spiritual men and women. Right. So clearly that couldn't happen until thank you, Tikva. I'm gonna check that out. until the Cosmon era, right? When everybody's traveling, they're coming from their countries. There's still a few that need to be open and start mingling with the rest of the world and not be excluded and exclusive. But think about the jewels. I know we hear some stories about was it North? I think it's North Korea. I think it's North Korea because our cab driver is from South Korea. He said 40 years ago, him and his wife came here to visit and they never left. They stayed here. So he shared a little bit of history about that. And he said it's a lot of people from Korea. You see a lot of Asians here. And so he kind of gave us a little history on that. But yeah, I believe it's North Korea that's blocked off right now. I got to check into that a little bit more. See, I think they're kind of loosening up a little bit. I think they're about to start mingling with the rest of the world. They still kind of tight, but although you may hear some real strict policies and stuff coming from out there, people are like, oh no, we won't go there. We're gonna stay away from there because you look the wrong way. They gonna have you in jail forever, and you ain't gonna be able to get free. America ain't gonna be able to negotiate your release, right? But just think about also without being infiltrated by other. Let's not say infiltrated, but we can say colonized or even infiltrated by other people. They've had a very long time to develop their gifts and the things that they are known for, right? So they'll have a certain type of wisdom some people may not have, right? In the midst of the vastness and the movement of all the worlds mingling. And I'm sure they watch us, right? They don't allow their people to watch us and interact with us, but government watches us and they take note and they sharpen their skills on a lot of things. So they may come out, I'm sure they're going to come out there with some wisdom that the rest of the world can use with some of the things that we're struggling with all over, right? Sound is working on Facebook. Okay, thank you. All right. All right, they still locked up, set apart. Okay, yeah, I heard a little bit about something being in the works about them trying to relax a little bit. I'm not sure when it's gonna happen or what. Was Tabitha said with slavery going on at that time, the Shalom community was up against many challenges. Right, right. So it's certain things that they wouldn't have been able to do because they hadn't reached the go ahead period yet. They just kind of got ahead of themselves and the creator. They were doing a good thing. They really were, right? They're trying to bring Father, we're trying to cause this to happen on earth just like you said it should in heaven. But without all the resources and the proper things in place, some things don't go as planned, right? And it brings a bad name on the whole, and it's a shame. And a lot of times, even some of those things prevent people just even coming and checking out to see the truth that's in here and just getting the opportunity to just weigh it for themselves and testing the merit of the information. So we got to be careful about those things. Okay. Verse 12, page 699, chapter 38. Nevertheless, hold on. Let me go. Let me go to 9. No, 8. I say unto thee, the new edifice shall be of all that was good of the past, of things proven in heaven and on earth. Also I say unto thee, it shall be of the young and not of the adult, because thou hast attempted to beget offspring for the new kingdom. Thou of all men art the most unfit. My laborers, excuse me, my laborers shall not have desire to be either fathers or mothers, nor shall they seek in any ways nor shall they seek in any way things that belong on the earth, nor have possessions that belong only to the earth. Nevertheless, they shall be the founders of the Father's kingdom on earth and with the young, and they shall gather up orphans and castaways in infancy, and take them into colonies, hundreds and thousands of them. And these infants shall be fed and clothed and raised up, not after any man's whim or conceit, but according to the accumulated wisdom collected from all the different nations and peoples in all the world, as to how to make the best corporal, spiritual men and women. That would be amazing. That'd be the day of the true superheroes. Behold, it has been proven in the warrior and pugilists how to raise a savage man by flesh diet and inharmonious surroundings, and in nations and tribes of peace, how to raise a virtuous and industrious man on herbs and fruit diet. These are things for thee to learn, O man, going at the subject systematically to find the best way to make the best man and woman out of the infants entrusted to thee, not only as to diet, but as to clothing, and as to comfort and cleanliness, and to avoid disease, and as to strength and suppleness and swiftness, and as to virtue and modesty, and as to education, practical and theoretical, and as to industry and quick perception, and as to willingness to work for one another, and to trades and occupations, and as to pastimes, amusements, and recreations, singing, dancing, and playing with great joy and delight, and as to worship, to rites and ceremonies, and as to acquiring seership and prophecy, and signs and miracles, and suis and sargus, as to communing with angels, and as to the value of angels as teachers and instructors by tangible presence and audible voices. And yet, above all things, thou shalt preserve liberty unto all, with pleasant and enjoyable discipline for everything, after the manner of my heavenly kingdoms, remembering that every faculty in everyone shall be cultivated to the utmost, teaching them from the first that the eye of Jehovah is upon them, and that his hand is stretched over them to bless them according to their goodness, purity, love, gentleness, and wisdom, and that they know not, and that they shall not own nor possess individually, but that all things are Jehovah's, and they themselves are angels in mortal form, created by Jehovah to rejoice and to help one another forever. This is amazing. Chapter 39, last chapter of the book of Judgment, y'all. This has been so good. I think we're going to really finish at the hour mark. Sis got to go to bed. Chapter 39, chapter XXXIX. And the subtitle under chapter 39 is God Provided for Increase. God said, when thy educational colony of infants shall have grown up to manhood and womanhood, they shall understand that as they were once homeless and fatherless, and ye gathered them up and provided unto them, even so shall they go and do likewise, gathering up from the Uzians other orphans and castaways, and raising them in other colonies after the same manner. And so remember, Uzians, it's just a term for people who live in darkness, right? In multiple ways. Darkness in multiple ways and multiple levels in the physical and the spiritual, right? Even so shall they go and do likewise, gathering up from the Uzians other orphans and castaways, and raising them in other colonies after the same manner. And it shall come to pass that many will desire. And it shall come to pass that many will desire to marry, and it shall be granted unto them to choose amongst their own people, and marry whom they will. But it shall be a law that no man nor woman shall marry more than one time, when the partner die, or whether they divorce themselves, yet to one I'm sorry, let me go back. Let's just read it all again. I'm sorry, getting tongue tied. Verse 3, verse 2. And it shall come to pass that many will desire to marry, and it shall be granted unto them to choose amongst their own people, and marry whom they will. But it shall be a law that no man nor woman shall marry more than one time, when the partner die, or whether they divorce themselves, yet to none other shall either ever wed more. And so this is how it's going to be. But I know people kind of like freaking out for like because of like incomplete teaching and incomplete understanding of what this is. If we were taught this from the beginning and the right way, we would understand the sacredness of marriage, and we will understand that when we die here, we don't just die forever and we're forgotten about. Like, your partner is still there, right? And when you return your flesh to the dirt, you all can join back up and continue to develop. That's what's not talked about. So now some people didn't been, and it is what it is, right? I've only been married once. I can't really speak on it, but now I'm understanding a little bit more, right? Um, so I think if we had the proper understanding from the beginning, it wouldn't be such a, oh my gosh, that's bondage. I can't marry again. Well, what if? We ain't gonna get into that now, but this actually gives a little bit of detail. If you go through here and pull out all the marriage things, it talks about this, and you can kind of put it together as one, and you can see a more complete picture of why it was designed that way. It's forever for your growth and perpetual upraising. What'd you say? Oh, Oahspe College University, shalom. Elijah, thank you. Most people will disagree. Yeah, they disagree with the marriage part. In the New Testament, they sort of command you to wed again. Yeah, I see a bit of both in the old and the new. There again, that chapter makes mention of how we become angels after death. Sorry, Michael Black not watching this chat. Right? Listen. Okay, let me finish reading through this, y'all. Let me just read it. Let me just read it over. Right? Let me just read it over. We'll start at the beginning of chapter 39. God said, when thy educational colony of infants shall have grown up to manhood and womanhood, they shall understand that as they were once homeless and fatherless, and ye gathered them up and provided unto them, even so shall they go and do likewise, gathering up from the Uzians other orphans and castaways, and raising them in other colonies after the same manner. And it shall come to pass that many will desire to marry, and it shall be granted unto them to choose amongst their own people and marry whom they will. But it shall be a law that no man nor woman shall marry more than one time, when the partner die, or whether they divorce themselves, yet to none other shall either ever wed more. Also, it shall be a law that at maturity, if one desireth to leave the colony, he shall do so without hindrance or prejudice, though it shall be incalculated into them during their youth, that at maturity they are supposed to swarm out after the fashion of bees, becoming too numerous for one hive, and go and form a new colony, that in all things they shall be taught not to do anything for self's sake, but for the good of man and for the honor and glory of Jehovah. That's good. And these things shall come to pass with these people, right? Talking about the new people who were developed after this time. We haven't quite got there yet, right? We're not there yet, but we're developing to there. But when we get there, verse 7, and these things shall come to pass with these people. They shall abjure war. They shall be non resistance. They shall have suez, and shall see without their mortal eyes, and hear without their mortal ears. I'm telling you, this is going to be the true age of real superheroes, developed from the womb for generations. We've been waiting for this day. We're going to probably be dead and gone, but we can see little bits of proofs of it by the way we're developing now, right? But they're going to be born this way at this time, right? And these things shall come to pass with these people. They shall abjure war. They shall be non resistance. They shall have sewers, and shall see without their mortal eyes, and hear without their mortal ears. My angels shall appear before them and walk with them, talking to them and teaching them of my kingdom. Some of us is going to be them that's teaching them that's born this way. I'm excited. My angels shall appear before them and walk with them, talking to them and teaching them of my kingdoms. And angels of the Ehim race will come to them, and of the Ehuans, and of all other peoples, and of all other peoples whereof mention is made in this Oahspe. And mortals shall recover from the libraries in heaven, things that have been lost on the earth, as to languages and histories of tens of thousands of years ago. And mortals shall prophesy truly of things in heaven and on earth. And many shall attain adeptism, and in spirit go out of their mortal bodies and appear hundreds of miles away, and there make themselves known, and they will return again to their mortal bodies unharmed. We can tap into that now as you develop and cleanse yourself. People do it for nefarious reasons, but everybody was designed, and you can do it if you trained appropriately. It's simply an out of body experience. Some people call it astral projection, whatever, right? But we seeing that this is progressing now. Us, our generations can do this. We have the knowledge, the spiritual understanding to do this, right? Verse 14, and mortals shall prophesy truly of things in heaven and on earth, and many shall attain adeptism, or being adept, right? Meaning you're very skilled in doing these things. And many shall attain adeptism, and in spirit go out of their mortal bodies and appear hundreds of miles away, and there make themselves known, and they will return again to their mortal bodies unharmed. And these and even greater things shall my angels teach them. Flatter not thyself, O man, that these things can come in ooze, or it can come in darkness, right? Because people in darkness, they're learning how to do this. They are doing this even today. Flatter not thyself, O man, that these things can come in ooze, or that they can come suddenly. They can neither come to Uzians, nor can they come suddenly. It is not the work of thy God in this cycle to raise up any man to become worshipful because of such wonders. It is my work to show man how he shall attain to these things himself. For this reason, I come not in this day to call sinners to repentance, nor to gather up the lost sheep of Israel. I come now to the wise and pure who have fulfilled the former commandments. I come to give them a new lesson, which is to show them how to build the Father's kingdom on earth. I come to raise up a new people in the world greater than that hath ever been. Those that I sent have cleared away the old edifice. I come as not a destroyer, I come as a builder. Into thy hands, O man, I give the key to the heavenly kingdoms. Remember the password which admitteth thee to the all highest kingdoms is Jehovah, the I am. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of the book of Judgment. This book was amazing. I would recommend that you read it over. Read it multiple times. We're going to read it again when we get to it, but when we're not here, go read it on your own time. Make sure it sink down deep in your shanana, along with the book of divinity. We're about to get into the book of inspiration. After that is book of Jehovah's kingdom on earth. Y'all, this is just getting better by the day. So with that being said, beautiful people, thank y'all for hanging out with me. Forgive me for my slow speaking and whatever other hiccups I haven't had. I's tired, boss. I's tired. All right, y'all. It is Friday, October the 7th, 2022, day 232 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets under the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1250. We read Oahspe, the book of the book of Judgment, the last few chapters 36 through chapter 39, which are found on pages 696 to page 700. Guys, we have broke the 700s. We started before page 1. Now we are almost done. All right. But it's good. Just laying the foundation, everything here. But when we go back through the second time and we understand a little bit more, we can get into some more of the other revelations and things that we can see that's all around us, and the different resources brought in, because people have made their different study manuals just on the cosmogony and prophecy book of this, where they have proven to be true. And they listen, it's beautiful. Y'all gotta, the reference that I give y'all when y'all get a chance, y'all really gotta go look into them, because some of this stuff they said, I know some people say, well, oh, they just stealing stuff. No, because it's been proven scientifically that some of this a lot of the information in the book of cosmogony and prophecy was the answer to things that the scientific realm had yet to figure out. They found it in Oahspe and tested it, and they were able to complete some of their scientific points based on the truth they found in here, research and tested. Right? So where did they get that from? They ain't steal that from nobody. That was given directly from the creator because it was proven and it's documented. It's scientifically documented. And NASA uses, not just NASA, the scientific, everywhere the world is using this, right? So I'm just saying, don't listen to those people who have yet to crack the book open and read it through for themselves and test the merit of the information, right? Don't listen to them. They just doing a bunch of jaw jacking and repeating. They doing like church be doing. They peddling garbage from the pulpit to the pews. Don't listen to them. Test it yourself. Read it yourself. Hana Shalom says, Shalom, Shalom. Father, we thank you that you are the developer. You are the ultimate developer of the civilizations of men who come through here in all generations, right? And I am really, really just enjoying this time we're gonna get to travel and just begin to just look at things and observe the different people like we ain't been here that long. I mean, you can tell if you watch movies or whatever, right? All the Hawaiian people, they look like The Rock. And I hope that don't sound racist, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like people from the Asiatic countries, they don't look alike, but they have the same facial features. They y'all get what I'm saying, right? But I'm like, wow, it's amazing and how they're coming together and how they welcome you here to their home. Excuse me. It's beautiful, y'all. So we're really enjoying this time. We get to. Come on. I'm about to get to bed. I feel like I'm bumbling and mumbling over my words. I gotta go, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out, babe. You gotta set your clock, cause I'm not gonna hear it. We can't be late for the meeting tomorrow. I love y'all. I see y'all back here, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, wait. Tomorrow. Wait. It's gonna be Saturday when we come back. 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 1:30 a.m. in the morning here. So what I'm gonna be having to do, I ain't gonna be staying up. Like I had no choice because we're flying in the multiple flights. We're gonna go to bed. I'm gonna set my clock and I'm gonna get back up to do the video at 1:30 in the morning here to be on time there at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And after we done, I'm gonna go back to sleep. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all here tomorrow. Thank y'all for hanging out. Sorry that it took the video from yesterday to upload. It took so long. I actually started that upload. I recorded it the night before we left. After I got done recording, I set everything up for Facebook and YouTube. It's different when I do the lives. Because it's like right there in their system on Facebook and YouTube. But when I pre-record a video, it has to upload this huge file, and it took forever. It wasn't until we got to LAX, and we got not just the regular Wi-Fi that they give you at the airport. We went into the United Club. You know how they have like lounges for the different credit cards or whatever you have. When you like top tier or whatever, you can get in there, or you can purchase it for a day. But anyway, we went into the United Club, and their Wi-Fi, once I got in there and I got the password and stuff to their Wi-Fi in there, because they give you premium everything, it was up. I was like, would you look at this? I said it just uploaded. And so it was able to upload that huge file a whole lot faster for YouTube. And it did the backup channel and the regular channel simultaneously, and it was done in a few minutes. I'm like, this is amazing. All right, y'all. So that's it. I love y'all. I see y'all. Thanks, Shebrew. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna look into it. We got a lot of stuff we're gonna be doing while we're here. All right, love y'all. Bye.